Hey everyone, this is Randy Cruz of the Cruise Control Podcast, and you're now tuning in to the Earnestly Speaking Podcast.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking Podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
All right, welcome to the Daily. Joined here now by probably news contributor to the Earnest Speaker podcast, a news panelist, what we call it. My man, David Healy. David, what's up, buddy?
Yo, man, what's going on with you?
Nothing, man. I love the little phone call this morning you gave me, and you were. I woke up to a text to you with some comparisons to who's the best bet to win the AFC, NFC, and it kind of triggered this idea to do a quick podcast on this today. Right now, as we know, we're approaching week 13, the NFL season, and I gotta be honest, this has been one of the weirdest seasons I think I've experienced in terms of the parity, in terms of like not really having a pulse on who's the best team. I know we got the Panthers, never know, whatever, but even with that, I was to argue that the confidence for me anyway in the NFC is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, however, that being said, today's quick topic is going to be who is the best bet to be in Super Bowl 50. Pick one team in the NFL that you think you have the most confidence in being in Santa Clara this February. Who is your best bet, Dave?
If I had to put the money down, I would probably pick Pittsburgh. I honestly feel like between Antonio Brown, Marcus Wheaton, Martavius Bryant, you could shut down maybe one, maybe two, but Big Ben's just got too many options.
Yeah.
Something like the AFC right now is in shambles. The Patriots are losing one of their starters every week. Like, they're just going down. Like, that's the thing to do. The AFC South is god-awful. Like, there's none of those teams are going to make any noise in the playoffs. And Andy Dalton just knows how to fold. Like, I'm not buying him. The only team I would say could give him a run would be Denver. But, I mean, we watched Brock Osweiler for 5 minutes, so I don't really know what we know about him. But, Keith Philippe can only defend one person. I just feel like nobody can outscore, nobody can go toe-to-toe with Pittsburgh as far as I'm concerned. But the way this conversation started was I asked my barber, who's the best team in the NFL? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no great teams. Like, you're used to seeing, like, Pro Bowlers, both sides of the ball, da-da-da. So I told him, I feel like the best team in the NFL right now is probably the Cardinals. They got, multiple weapons with Fitz, Floyd, and John Brown. I know Chris Johnson got a little banged up and he's older, but he's looked good most of the year. Like, they're just balanced on offense. Cover it. I feel like Arizona's the best team in the league right now. Tennessee does have a little bit more to get through. So I think that's what I'm looking at.
I actually like your pick. In fact, I said before the year started and into the season, before all the injuries started happening to Pittsburgh, I thought they were the biggest threat in the AFC to New England. I thought that if they're fully healthy, Le'Veon Bell's healthy, they have the Angel Williams behind them also. The defense started improving in the middle of the year. I thought Pittsburgh had the most upside to throw in the Patriots. But everything that could go wrong for the Steelers this year has gone wrong. They've had injuries to teams like New England, Pittsburgh. I mean, they start the year at Bell, suspended for 2 games. He comes back, plays well a couple games, then he gets hurt. The offensive line has been kind of shaky here and there. They've had a lot of issues too. Oh, Big Ben in and out of the lineup. So that's a team that I do like your pick. I just don't know with all the injuries they've sustained, also like New England, if that's the wise pick right now. I'll tell you what. For my best bet right now, and look, it all depends on what happens to this guy here. Obviously, it rides on this guy. I'm going to stay with the Patriots because I still think because the Pats fans dodged a bullet last week. You know, when Gronkowski went down last week against Denver, I mean, we all thought it was the worst. We all thought he was out for the year, the whole nine. And to me, when that happens, immediately the entire AFC, and for that matter, the entire NFL Super Bowl conversation changes. All of a sudden now, Denver and Saints are in play, Pittsburgh's in play, and any other dark horse in the AFC. That said, the injury isn't as bad as you thought. And you still got Tom Brady. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, okay? And I think just based on buyers' confidence, I'm not saying they're going to win the AFC, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but based on the confidence and seeing the layout of the entire NFL this year, I have to still lean on Belichick and Brady to at least be in Santa Clara in February.
I mean, as much as I'm not going to knock that, you know I love Tom terrific, but, you know, you lose Deion Lewis, that ended up being a bigger shot than they realized. They lose Julian Edelman. I know they're optimistic that he's going to come back for the playoffs, but I think it's a little bit of hopes and dreams. You know, Amendola gets nicked up. Nobody knows the extent of Gronk's injury right now. I know Boston is very hopeful, but they're hopeful. Like we don't know what you're going to get out of Gronk. The reason I don't have a problem with Pittsburgh is because there's certain quarterbacks that if they have a leg injury, it's not a big deal. Like Big Ben, he moves around, but he's not mobile per se. He's not fast. He's just big and tough to bring down. So I'm saying, like, if he had a shoulder injury or an elbow injury, it'd be more concern, you know, with Big Ben. But I mean, he's gonna be tough to bring down. He's gonna throw the ball down the field. That's what he does. Like his injury's not gonna affect that. But you know,
right.
The Patriots they're just losing a player every week.
Everything you said is on point. And like I said, Pittsburgh is definitely a team you don't want to play. Like I think what you saw last week in the Steelers and the Seahawks are two teams in each conference that I think if they get in the playoffs, even as a wild card, those are the two teams you want to not play in January because of the experience factor and because you know they can get hot.
I'm not betting on Seattle at all. Like if you watch their offense, I never would have thought losing Max Unger was that big of a deal. But they can't create holes for a running back. Russell Wilson is getting put on his back all the time. They have no receivers. Doug Baldwin looked good last week. But listen, let's be very clear. Dougie B and Jermaine Kearse, not legitimate receivers. Those guys wouldn't see the field in Denver or Pittsburgh. Marshawn Lynch is injured. So you're going to bank on Russell Wilson trying to get it done with marginal talent at best, and Rawls probably going to be, carrying the load. And that secondary, I don't know if you've been watching that secondary. Dan Quinn has left, and all of a sudden, people can light them up.
Yeah. That's very concerning, definitely. But I think right now, I like your pick. I like Pittsburgh's pick. I think, I think voter conference AFC is in Arizona, but I do think if I had to pick one team right now, at least today, and this can change next week. This can change in a couple of days. If you tell me voter confidence, it lies with Brady and Belichick still just because of the fact that I think those two guys could at least get the job done. And the AFC is not weaker. I will say this about Cincinnati, though, real quick. They have the best roster probably in football, but the question is the quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain quarterbacks. Like, there's a group of quarterbacks I can't root for. Like Andy Dalton folds. Philip Rivers underachieves. Matt Stafford underachieves. Jay Cutler underachieves. Like, these guys have shown you year in and year out that that's what they do. Like Alex Rodriguez, you're not going to bet on him in the postseason. He has showed you he folds. I'm saying, like, Brock Osweiler, I'm willing to see what happens, but Andy Dalton has underachieved for a few years now. But let me say one thing I wanted to get off my chest. I think I might have told you this. I don't know. But Richard Sherman thinks that he's as good as Darrelle Revis used to be. But he covers no legitimate receivers in the NFC West.
Whoa.
And he can,
don't piss off Seahawks fans now. Oh, don't piss them off now.
But let me further make my point. It's a little bit easier to take chances and look good when you know Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor are behind you. Like, he has that luxury. There's no Revis Island where you're a shutdown man. He can take some chances and know that the guys behind him are going to catch him. Put him in the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? Put him on the Eagles. You got to cover Odell Beckham, Deshaun Jackson, and Dez Bryant. Because if you watch that Dez Bryant game against the Seahawks last year, twice he grabbed the back of Dez's jersey while Dez was running by him. Just straight up pass interference. Like, he was getting abused.
So it's safe to say you're not big on Seattle, even if they make the postseason. You have any expectation on Seattle doing anything in the playoffs.
No, I mean, they could win a game. I just don't. are they going to run the gauntlet of pretty good teams? No great teams, but the Arizona, Minnesota is we're going to see Seattle, Minnesota this week. So I guess we're going to see how legitimate both of those teams are going to be this year.
I think that's a big game for Minnesota more than anything else.
I mean, I've watched Seattle this year. It doesn't look like Seattle last year. So I think both teams need a little bit more of a confidence boost. But I mean, Green Bay, if they had to play Green Bay, that's a coin flip game. And I don't know, I think they could win a game, but I just don't see them looking as good. They gave up Max Unger for Jimmy Graham. Now they don't even have him. They have nothing going for them right now.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
It's gonna be tough for the Seahawks, especially if they're gonna have to go to Carolina. If Carolina can keep playing the way they are. I know Cam doesn't have any receivers, but Josh Norman could shut down just about anybody.
That's my guy right there. One second. Yeah, can I get one small fry, 2 McMuffins, please? That's it.
Love that.
Thank you. You said a small fry? Yeah, small fry. Anything else? That's it. Oh, no, sorry. And 2 egg McMuffins. 2 egg muffins and 1 small fry? Yeah, that's it. Thanks, man. Sorry.
No worries.
Or to get some fries.
Yeah, but if Seattle has to go all the way to Carolina, I don't see him being able to pull that off.
Right.
The 12s is one of the things that they claim to have, and they're not going to get home field advantage.
Right. Although I will say this, though, man. I mean, we have to kind of get Carolina some credit here, though. I know they're not really sexy and all, man, but they're getting the job done, man.
Getting the job done, and they look good from time to time, but it's kind of like Tim Tebow. You watch it, but man, you know what? They're winning, but that shit is not sustainable. With no Kelvin Benjamin. When they get in the red zone, when Greg Olsen is your best option, and I like him, he's, probably the second best tight end in the NFL. But you have nobody outside.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, the Patriots receiving core right now with LaFell. LaFell would be the number one probably in Carolina.
Right. And he was terrible in Carolina, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how bad, their receiving core is. So, Cam definitely deserves an honorable mention and some strong consideration for MVP with what he's working with.
I think
think about this.
I think he is the MVP right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you can make. I'm not going to even say you can make that argument. I wouldn't be upset with it. I wouldn't be upset if Carson Palmer got it. Maybe Tom Brady, but either of the three, none of that. It wouldn't upset me. But think about this. Not only does he have no receivers, but his starting running back was last year's backup. He wasn't good enough to start over D'Angelo Williams.
And the thing is, too, also, when you think about, the Cam Newton, the Panthers, here's the thing people keep forgetting. I mean, we're so obsessed with numbers because it's with the fantasy football era and all that, we want to have numbers and numbers to prove our theory, and it makes us lazy. But who carries right now more responsibility for their team currently right now in the league than Cam Newton, considering the injuries and who he doesn't have on his roster? And the lack of, Ron Rivera's a decent coach. He's not Bill Belichick. He's not Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's Ron Rivera.
I mean, as much as I agree, and I'm not trying, by no means am I going to bash Carolina, but they have not necessarily played the toughest of schedules.
Right, but the same could be something New England also too. Because, and in fact, more so because based on everything's played out the last 11 weeks now.
Same thing can be said about who?
The Patriots.
Oh, I agree.
Because if you look at it right now, with everything's played out so far through 12 weeks, the hardest team the Pats have faced has been the Jets.
Yeah.
Well, no. Oh, sorry, the Broncos now. Well, not the Broncos last week.
Yeah.
Carolina at least won in Seattle. They beat Green Bay.
They beat Green Bay, but how good is that win looking? Green Bay's losing that's the thing to do right now.
Well, but Green Bay at the time was like 6-1.
That is the slowest receiving core in the NFL.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, dude. And that's why I think Green Bay is done. I don't think they recover from this.
Either when you're slow and you're dropping passes, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So
they'll get to the postseason because Aaron Rodgers is the man. That's where it ends.
Yeah. At first, I thought, that Green Bay was a quality win. I'm like, damn, Cam is for real. But I've been watching Green Bay. I'm like, Green Bay is not as good as I thought. So I'm still taking Arizona to beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will score enough points to get to the Super Bowl, but
so revenge, Super Bowl 43 revenge. Then I like that.
You got the Honey Badger and Patrick Peterson, covering that fast trio of receivers in Pittsburgh. Like that's the matchup that you look for. So,
I will say this though. I'm not trying to be a homer here because I don't think my team's any good. But if the Giants get in and they play well at the end of the year, based on the NFC the way it looks right now, they can be a spoiler again. You've seen this story before multiple times. If they get,
I wish I could see you right now. Like, do you have a straight face? Like, you're really saying this? Like, you really believe this shit you're saying?
I'm just saying. Well, no. The thing is, here's the thing with the Giants, though. I mean, you've seen so many times. They play up for the big games and down for the easy ones. Don't know for the easy ones. I mean, look at the Packers.
I don't know if they expected that Washington game to be easy, but
well, I'm saying, they almost beat New England. They should beat New England again, and
I don't know how politically correct I'm supposed to be, but that NFC East looks kind of like the Special Olympics. Like there's not a team like it's like everyone is trying to lose that division. Chip Kelly is trying to lose that division. Like Kirk Cousins is a joke. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. I really don't. I don't like that whole.
Try being a Giants fan. How frustrating? You think it's frustrating for people who are pick the Giants to win the division and whatnot, and for analysts and people and pundits who think the Giants are actually a good team? Try being a Giants fan. How frustrating it is to see them play their best game with New England and should have won that game in 5 different ways, and then still lose to New Orleans and still lose to Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But you said that they can make the Super Bowl. That's impressive.
What I said is if they start playing well at this last stretch of the year, the NFC is still wide open, man. And there's no clear. Arizona's probably the best bet of the NFC, but we don't know that necessarily that they're the best team in the NFC. I think they're the most complete team in the NFC. But Carolina doesn't know. They're going to keep themselves. Who knows if Green Bay gets their shit together before the year's over? Seattle. Who knows? It's wide open.
I'm just saying, like, if with the passing attack that Arizona has, Giants can't stop anybody from throwing the ball.
They can't stop a nosebleed, a runny nose, boogers, any of that stuff.
Every week they make every quarterback look like Tom Brady. Like, damn, I think Kirk Cousins might be pretty good. It's like, no, he was playing the Giants. He's not that good. You guys for Arizona, you're going to make Carson Palmer look like Peyton Manning in his prime.
But that's kind of the point I made, though. The Giants always play well against a good team. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even when you play well, you played well against the Patriots, but it was good enough for a close loss. And that is not good enough to keep playing.